This is MLB Cover the Bases. So give me your favorite sportsbook bet. The following categories. Again, we're talking tonight's 7-game main slate. First base, run line or money line. Paul, what do you like?
I touched on this in the earlier segment, Emerson. I have to take the Jays power hitting lineup, playing in Fenway against Nick Pivetta, who's serving up long balls at a very high rate over his last 10 starts. Give me the Jays -1.5 for +140 this evening.
All right. What about you, Erik?
Yeah, I'm also on the Blue Jays. I like them at +120 on the money line. I think last night it was -110. I'm not a big fan of Thomas Hatch necessarily. Hasn't shown anything all that exciting. Decent ERA, seems to be a lot better than his peripherals. But Nick Pivetta on the other side, the Canadian going against the Canadian team here, he's having his best season, but the good version of Nick Pivetta is nothing all that scary. 4.37 ERA looks to be about what he deserves. He does strike some people out, but he walks too many, doesn't keep the ball on the ground, and that's going to be a problem against those big Blue Jays power bats. He's also been cold lately, 4 earned runs or more in 3 of his last 4 starts, 5.73 ERA over that stretch. So I think Blue Jays should not be underdogs by anything significant here.
Yeah, I could definitely see a letdown game with the Sox after this past series with the Yankees and that 8th inning miracle yesterday on Sunday. Also, let's not forget, I think the last time the Blue Jays were here inside Fenway, they set a Fenway record for home runs, just taters left and right. Second base, give me a game total you like, Erik.
I'm going to go Astros Mariners over 8.5. That is quite a low number for a game with the Astros lineup in it. They've got a 117 WRC plus on the season, best in the league and 5 points ahead of anybody else. They're just in a tier all by themselves. And they're facing Darren McCon, who we've talked about a few times and whose name I don't entirely know how to pronounce, which is, I think, a sign of what his reputation is. He's a non-prospect 25-year-old who's made just a single relief appearance in his career. No reason to be scared of him at all. Had an ERA close to 4 and a strikeout rate of 18.9% at the AAA level. So with a pitcher that shaky going against the Astros lineup, they could hit the over themselves. Luis Garcia on the other side is a good pitcher, but he's not an elite pitcher, and the Mariners don't have a terrible offense, so they could contribute at least a few runs. But again, 8.5 when one team could easily get 7 or 9 themselves is just too low.
All right, Paul, what do you think? Game total you like?
We've talked all day about Boston and Toronto. I think that's a very chalky pick in terms of getting the over tonight. So I think in addition to that game, I say the same thing applies to Kansas City, where with the Sox in town, those are 2 pretty good offenses in a very nice hitter-friendly ballpark. And I don't like the quality of pitching among any of the 4 starters in those 2 games. So I say both games easily hit the plus side of the over tonight.
All right, as we continue to cover the bases here, we're now at the hot corner. We're at third base, a pitcher prop that catches your eye on the DK Sportsbook, Paul.
I like Pineda to hit the over 4.5 strikeouts to pay -115 tonight. I highlighted in the earlier segment that he had 41 strikeouts in his last 48 innings pitched. If he can get to 5 or 6 innings tonight, he should get there for this payoff tonight as well.
All right, Erik, how about you?
I like Spencer Howard to hit the over on 3.5 strikeouts. It's not great odds, -145, I think, but that's because I think that number is too low. Pretty serious innings concerns with Howard, which is the reason I didn't recommend him earlier as the cheap pitcher that I liked. He's rarely goes more than 4 innings this season, went just 3 in his last start. But he does strike guys out, 25.9% strikeout rate in the minors and the majors this season, 32.9% in the minors. And whenever he goes even 3 innings, he's going to hit that over of 3.5. He's hit it 3 out of 4 times in the majors and 4 out of 5 times in the minors. So it's just too low for a guy who has some serious questions, but does have strikeout stuff. I think we should easily see, 4 innings, 4 strikeouts here, no problem.
All right, take us home, Erik, a hitter prop.
Yeah, let's pick on Darren McEwen. Maybe by the end of the segment, I will learn his name, but
yeah, man, it's all good.
Again,
you probably got it between all of those guesses.
Darren for the Mariners. Again, okay. Given his reputation, he's a guy I'm going to take some long shots on homers against with a lineup as good as the Astros, specifically looking at lefties. Kyle Tucker, who I talked about earlier, plus 360. Yordan Alvarez plus 275. It's not the most hitter-friendly park there in Seattle, but again, we got a guy with not much pedigree, not much of a resume. In the minors, he wasn't keeping the ball on the ground at a very high rate either. Just 41.7% is a hair below league average. So no reason to believe he can slow down the Astros' big bats here.
Paul, how about you? A hitter prop?
Look, we're playing in the Get It Right League, so I'm going to go to back to the Toronto-Boston game and say that I'm going with Xander Bogaerts, who loves hitting against the Blue Jays. It doesn't matter where they play. He's been in a bit of a funk recently, with only 7 hits in his last 35 ABs. Tony faces Thomas Hatch, who's in his season debut. I don't expect the Jays starter to go deep, and that means that they go to the bullpen early, and that's one part of the Jays team that's been awful. Bogaerts will go deep and pay off at plus 350 this evening.
Well, Xander did drive in the go-ahead run on Sunday. Extra basis right now, Paul. The Windy City special on the DK Sportsbook. White Sox and Cubs, both to win, has been boosted from plus 215 to plus 240. What do you think? What do you like?
I like the White Sox part of it a lot better than the Cubs, but you know what? It's a coin flip in the Cubs game, and I figure let's give it to them and let's go for the big payoff. So I'm with you on the plus side on this one.
All right, Erik, I know you're hammering this one.
Yeah, I would say I like it. I don't love it. If they were 2 true coin flips, you get plus 300, I think is how the math works out. But I think I do slightly favor the Chicago teams on both sides. I like the White Sox over the Royals. The 2 pitchers, Dallas Keuchel, Mike Minor, close to a wash, but the White Sox have a much better lineup. I do think Kyle Hendricks is better than Wade Miley in that Cubs-Reds game. Cubs lineup is worse, and that Cubs team is just kind of sad right now. But I think it's close enough that I think plus 240 seems like fine play to me.